Hello and welcome to Gunners Daily YouTube channel, where I'm covering all the latest Arsenal news and everything that is happening around the club. We have some big news that came out on social media last night. I don't know if you've seen it, but anyway, the story is that Arsenal are lining up a move for Bournemouth striker Dominic Solanke as an alternative to Ivan Toney. Alex Wood from Daily Star exclusively released this news to the public last night, and as you could have imagined, Arsenal fans have expressed different opinions about this possible transfer. But let's go through this news first and see what exactly Daily Star's Alex Wood revealed, and then we can discuss about this whole situation. Okay, so this is what Alex Wood wrote regarding the Dominic Solanke to Arsenal news. Word by word, bar by bar. Arsenal are keeping tabs on Bournemouth forward Dominic Solanke. Brentford ace Ivan Toney remains Mikel Arteta's top January target, but the Gunners also have a list of alternative options if the Bees look to instigate a bidding war for their prized asset. Tottenham are keen on the 27-year-old, along with Chelsea, who are desperate to add more firepower once the transfer window opens. Arsenal will refuse to pay over the odds for the in-demand star. And it's understood Arteta will push for Solanke's arrival if an agreement for Toney can't be reached. Big wigs at the Emirates have been impressed by the 26-year-old's hard-working displays at the South Coast club and believe he can still improve. However, West Ham are also sniffing around and rate Solanke highly. David Moyes desperately needs an out-and-out striker in January, but needs to sell fringe players to boost their own budget. Bournemouth are pragmatic about cashing in and will listen to offers, but value Solanke at around £50 million. They signed him for around £90 million for Liverpool in the 2019 January transfer window. Since then, he's registered 65 goals and 28 assists in 193 games for the Cherries, and got on the score sheet again on Saturday before their home match against Luton Town was abandoned in the aftermath of Tom Lockyer suffering a cardiac arrest. A one-time England international, Solanke signed a new contract at the Vitality Stadium in September through to the end of the 2026-27 season. Okay. So first things first, let's get one thing out of the way. In what kind of the world we live in, where Dominic Solanke is worth £50 million? I think he's a great player, nothing against the guy, and this season specifically, he's been balling out for Bournemouth. But £50 million for 26-year-old Dominic Solanke. The game's gone. Okay, so obviously, as we've already discussed for these past few weeks, Ivan Toney is obviously Arsenal's first choice striker. But that price tag that Brentford reportedly put on his head, close to £100 million, is absolutely ridiculous. And I fully support Arteta and Edu if they refuse to be played and pumped by Brentford. Let's not get it twisted. Ivan Toney is a great player, but that price tag is absurd. And I hope Arsenal won't even think about matching it. Chelsea and United are probably the only clubs that are maybe so desperate to actually give Brentford a big £100 million for 27-year-old Ivan Toney, who, by the way, hasn't played a competitive game in 8 months. If Thomas Frank and Brentford are not willing to drastically lower his price, I would honestly be more happy if he goes to Chelsea or United. Truly a battle of the myths. But all jokes aside, what do I really think about Dominic Solanke to Arsenal? Look, like I said, from what I've seen so far from him this season, when I had Bournemouth turned on my TV, which is rare, plus some Twitter compilations from the last 24 hours, I think he's a great player. We all know he was regarded as a big talent when he was at Chelsea, but in the end, it didn't work out for him with them at that time, and he later decided to join Liverpool. The problem is, he joined Liverpool at the reverse time. It was at the same time when Jurgen Klopp was forming that legendary Mane, Firmino, Salah trio. So he simply never got a real chance to prove himself. And after 2 years, Liverpool sold him to Bournemouth in 2019 for £19 million. Look, this is a tricky one. If this is true, this whole news that broke out about Arsenal being interested in Ivan Toney and Dominic Solanke, if these are the two main guys that we have on our transfer list for January, honestly, if we're not looking at the price, if I'm just judging based on their football ability and performances, I would rather have Ivan Toney than Dominic Solanke. I just think he's more capable of quickly adapting and becoming that type and profile of a striker that we desperately need at the moment. But of course, here it gets even more tricky. If Brentford really want almost double for Toney, compared to what Bournemouth wants for Solanke, then I would definitely say, you know what? I don't have time for this. Let's just get Solanke. Although, I honestly think that even £50 million is too much money. It's too much money for both of them. I really can't wrap my head around this. What is going on with these prices? 100 million for Ivan Toney, 50 million for Dominic Solanke. Like, what am I reading? Look, if those reported prices are correct, I would definitely pick Solanke. Although I think if it truly comes to this, Arsenal signing Solanke, I expect him to battle it out for game time with Eddie Nketiah. That's the only logical thing. We already talked about this. When he's healthy, Gabriel Jesus is by far our best striker and one of the best strikers in general in the Premier League. When healthy, he's been absolutely brilliant for us, and he's been absolutely brilliant in a way how he fits in for Mikel Arteta's system. So let's put it this way. If it ain't Victor Osimhen or Kylian Mbappe, who we're signing this winter, Jesus definitely needs to remain our first choice striker. Also, where's Eddie Nketiah in this story? If we sign, let's say, Solanke, then Eddie Nketiah will effectively become our, third choice striker? I don't know. I mean, I like Eddie. He's still young, he's Haaland and Arsenal through and through. He still has potential to become a really great player in the future. I mean, he's only 23, 24 years old, something like that. So younger than Solanke. Not that it matters that much, but still. I don't know, this made me think. You know what? Write down in the comments, drop a comment and tell me. Who do you think is a better player between Dominic Solanke and Eddie Nketiah? Honestly, write down in the comments because I'm really interested to hear you out. You know what bothers me about this? No offense to Solanke, but he's more of a West Ham or Aston Villa type of striker rather than Arsenal. No offense to him, no offense to those clubs, but what is Edu Gaspar doing? It's like there aren't any other strikers on the market other than Ivan Toney and now, according to this news, Dominic Solanke. You know what, Edu? You know what I think? I think you should get on a plane and fly out from England, fly around Europe, go to Spain, go to Germany, go to France, I don't know, go to Italy. There are many wonderful places to visit around Europe. And along the way, try to find some third option for our backup striker. One that will be happy to sit on the bench and one that possibly won't cost more than, 20, 25 million pounds. Because these prices for Premier League players just seem absurd to me. And that's what I think about this possible deal. But Gunners, tell me, what are your thoughts? Who would you rather see at Arsenal if you had to pick between Toney and Solanke? And how much would you be willing to pay for them? Write down in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later for Arsenal Brighton post-match reaction video.